Alright, so welcome back. We now, for this video, we are in, as you can see from the title, we are talking about a classic when it comes to, the realm of US power metal, and this is definitely one that gets talked about quite a bit, and this was definitely one that was released through, of course, a major label. This is, of course, the Sanctuary's Refuge Denied, and it was, of course, this is their first album, and for the first album, it gets released through Epic Records, which was a fucking giant when it comes to, metal. Probably not as a giant, but when it comes to even the realm of just music in general, just from the bands that were on the label, such ranging from like Ted Nugent to, so forth, Molly Hatchet, and just many bands were on, or Alice Cooper, fuck. You just name it. Any classic hard rock band, or even when it comes to even heavy metal in general, like some of the more mega giants as well. Me, like Judas Priest had some of their albums released through Epic, but there were definitely presses were also had stuff released, through Epic. But here, they get a U.S. permanent band. It isn't the only time where they get a U.S. permanent band. We're definitely going to get to that other band that is also a pretty well-known name when it comes to metal and rock music in general. So here we got Sanctuary's Refuge Denied, of course, led by Warrell Dane. Now, my introduction to Warrell Dane actually goes back to, I think like 2010. 10. It goes back to, 2009. It goes back to that when when my cousin Sean burned me a copy of fucking, what was that? Oh geez, I forgot. It was like one of Warrell Dane's solo albums from like 2008. I forgot the name of it. But that was my introduction to Warrell Dane. But once I got the Brutal Legend game, that's when I heard this Sanctuary, and it was with the track Battle Angels. Just from the riff and everything, god damn, I was like, who the hell is this? And the singing was unlike, what he did sound like on that album. But because on here he has a bit of a Rob Halford-esque singing to him. He's definitely got a Halford sort of Jeff Tate sort of type of singing. But here, definitely that, and it really was definitely great, and I really wanted to, this was an album that I was sought out looking for. I was definitely looking for this album because it's like, holy fucking shit, this was definitely great. So, let's definitely get into it. Of course, Sanctuary's Refuge Denied was also produced by Dave Mustaine. Yes. He produced the album, and he also provides a guitar solo on one of the songs, and it's a cover track, which we will get to. Of course, it was also produced by Paul Lanny as well. Dad and Dave Mustaine. So, I think Paul Lanny worked on maybe one of the Megadeth albums. I can't really think. I think it was like, maybe So Far, So Good, So What, I believe. I can't really remember at this point. I could have wrote that down or looked that up. So I'm not going to waste any more time. Album starts off with Battle Angels. Good track. Of course, I'm basing this off the CD copy, but the CD, because of the LP copy, has a different track listing, which I should have put that track listing up, but I didn't. I didn't really look at both, for that. So we're just going to stick with the CD copy and its track listing. So it starts off with Battle Angels. Like I said, it's a killer track. Everything about this, starting with the marching beat before then going into just a killer track, and Warrell Dane just, giving off at times as Jeff Tate-esque, or Rob Halford type singing. Yes, it's definitely like a crossbreed of the two singers because of when he does his scream. That's very Halfordish. I've heard some people kind of compare him to King Diamond, but Not really. He doesn't really have a kingdom. To his singing is very similar to how Rob Halford sounded on like Painkiller, and this is before Painkiller was even released. So definitely there's that. Termination Force, damn good track. Just another really good one. Die for My Sins. Definitely still keeps the quality running. Soldiers of Steel. Damn, again, right from here, it's just solid. From Battle Angels up to Soldiers of Steel, it's just, really, it's just on a straight line. Sanctuary starts off kind of soft a bit, but before breaking into a really killer track. And again, this is definitely at times kind of progressive. Just another really good track. I can't really say anything bad, but then we get the White Rabbit, which of course is the cover of the Jefferson Airplane track. So they do give it their own spin. They do. It's definitely much a metal, take on it, and it's actually the best version I've heard, at least when it comes to cover tracks of this. I know Lizzie Borden did a cover of this and was actually featured on the Terror Rising EP, which I did not talk about or even mention, but they did do that, and I remember kind of checking that out, and it wasn't as good, but here it's actually pretty enjoyable. I said that Dave Mustaine provides a guitar solo, and it's actually on this track. It's actually around this part of the first part of it, and he really does add something to it. It's definitely a pretty good track. Ascension to Destiny, fucking good track. Now it's just picking really right back up. The Third War is a killer song as well, but then we get the Veil of Disguise, and my god, this track just starts off very kind of soft, slow, but then it just but when it as it progresses, it also gets, there's just some fast parts and where it just gets some raging speed. It just balls out nuts, and even with World Dane just ends up providing his fucking batshit nuts, as screaming and all that. This is just a fucking killer track. And it's the song that ends the CD copy. I don't know if it ends the LP copy, because I didn't relook at that track listing, so definitely bear with me on that. But this is just for even the CD copy. This is a good way to end it. Overall, it's a solid album, and definitely probably one of the more straightforward albums from the Sanctuary discography, because of course after this they would change their sound, of course, with the Into the Mirror Black, still keeping some of its power metal moments. I was going to review this a part of this month, because on my the catalog number, it actually pretty much would state that it was released in 1989, because of the catalog number is pretty much a few numbers below before release of Alice Cooper's Trash, because I got that CD copy as well, and that one's got a higher number than that, and that was released in 1989, and yet Into the Mirror Black was released in 1990, yet it's got a much more lower number. So definitely don't know what's with the with that, and nobody hasn't brought that up on that sort of aspect. Nobody hasn't brought that up. They all go by year dates, but they never go by catalog numbers, because of, I don't know. And I don't really hear, I don't even hear how, if that album was released a year later on CD or LP. I don't. I know this album was released on CD in 1988. It was released in 1987, but only on LP. But there's that. And of course, throughout then, World Dane did, put an end to Sanctuary and did form Nevermore. And that worked out pretty well for him, and did a solo album, which I totally fucking forgot that name of, which was like released in 2008, which was my introduction to World Dane. And then we get the comeback album of Sanctuary in 2014, the year the sun died, I believe that album is called. And I didn't really give that album a listen. I do remember hearing a track of it, and it was okay. It was I never really heard as much of Nevermore's stuff, in which people compared that comeback album to Nevermore's albums. With that, good album. If you have heard Refuge tonight, which you definitely have, what are your thoughts? If you have any thoughts, you can definitely post your comments down below. This is Heavy Thrasher saying I'm out. It's time to get to the next band. Later.